to Neha as well. RBI Governor Urjit Patel's call for banking regulation that is ownership neutral has found support for the banks. Bank Board Bureau Vinod Rai headed bureau has also hit out at the government, saying that the Department of Financial Services has not acted on its important recommendation. Neha Botra is now joining us with all the details.
Urjit Patel break his silence on dual regulatory practices in the country, stressing the need for powers that are ownership neutral. Today we have Banks Board Bureau coming out and saying that as far as banking regulation is concerned, it really helps if it is ownership neutral. In fact, they have spelled out areas that they have been looking at over the years, and they have pointed out crucial areas where they have put in their recommendations, but have highlighted that the Department of Financial Services is yet to revert on those crucial recommendations, thereby hampering the implementation of these recommendations. Do remember that the Banks Board Bureau was set up in April 2016 with the mandate to improve the governance in public sector banks. In fact, it was a very important part of the idea of the PJ committee report that recommended the setup of this panel to ensure that public sector banks have more transparency and are more competitive in comparison to the private peers. However, as far as the last 2 years are concerned, we've not seen much update coming from the Banks Board Bureau, be it the area of key appointments of top leadership in public sector banks, or even the area of asset resolution. We are given to understand from documents we have accessed that the Banks Board Bureau did indeed make recommendations in these crucial areas. As far as the appointments are concerned, they did shortlist about 10-15 names which were passed on to the government for approval. However, there was no revert from the government in these key areas. As far as trust asset resolution is concerned, also we are given to understand that the Banks Board Bureau did indeed have discussions with the Reserve Bank of India, other stakeholders, and also parts of CBI were part of the meeting. However, there was no clear criteria given by the government to the Banks Board Bureau with respect to implementation of the framework, and thereby Banks Board Bureau decided to stop its efforts in that area. Other important areas where the Banks Board Bureau's inputs were sought were also areas concerning capital allocation and consolidation of public sector banks. But here again, the panel report points out that there were recommendations made, but the government did not revert with its feedback, and thereby the implementation of the same was not possible. So clearly we've seen a very unfruitful 3 years as far as the Banks Board Bureau is concerned. But of course, the Banks Board Bureau on its part has highlighted various areas where they did submit recommendations, crucial recommendations that would have gone a long way as far as governance at public sector banks is concerned. But clearly there was no response or update from the government which restricted the powers of the Banks Board Bureau, and thereby it proved to be very unfruitful, so to say.
Okay, Neha, thanks so much for joining us with that. So that's the view of the Bank Board Bureau headed by Vinod Rai.